Hello, you wonderful bastards, and welcome to episode 8 of Cheer Up, We're All Gonna Die. This week, we've got some Trump talk, we've got some dick talk, which I understand is a bit redundant. We've got van sex talk. That's not sex in a van, that's sex with a van. We talk about that man in the high castle. We look at our things, and somehow, in the end, we come away holding on to our heterosexuality. We also run out of battery power at the end of the show. Fortunately, we got through the meat of what we wanted to talk about, but I did want to warn you that the final phrase of the show was the beard saying, "I haven't done a really good job with Twitter, by the way." And then, boom, it's done. So, now that you know what's coming up, why don't you keep listening? Wade, let's have it. Wade? Buddy? We're gonna do this? Ah, fuck it.
All right, on my mark, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
It's the way you walk, it's the way you talk, it's the way you shine. It's the way that day, and walking on, and walking night. And I'm sorry not to follow me, and it's all over. One thing I know is this is my life.
Shit's not fair. There we go. We'll see you next week.
Bean awards.
No, absolutely not.
And antics ensue.
Antics ensue.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When I come, I start to yell,
Here's your letter.
Having been on the African continent, I can attest to the size of their prawns.
Look, Fat Albert doesn't rape people. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Rudy does. Cheer up.
We're all
Gonna die.
This is my life. Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're running, let's run. We're gonna jump. Here's what we're gonna do.
We're going to do Trump talk?
No, we're not gonna do Trump talk.
Well, that's disappointing because I thought the Trump talk was actually, there's a good...
Do you want to do Trump talk?
I want to do Trump talk only because I want to talk about the opposition to the article that you shared. So why don't you go ahead and lead us into the article and we can talk about the opposition.
All right, we'll do Trump talk. What is going on with your bowels, my
I'm
man?
an active digester.
I told
I
you
apologize in
that fart
advance.
jokes are not funny to me. So.
Well, that's why I'm holding it in, apparently.
Oh, that's not you farting?
That's just my stomach, my intestines digesting.
Wow. Okay.
That's now all over the internet.
So here's what happened. An artist collective, not just one man, but several people, erected statues. Erected. And that plays in. In New York, San Fran, L.A., Seattle, which apparently we don't like. And
No, we don't like Seattle.
don't like the airport.
The airport sucks.
the rest of Seattle's okay?
Yeah, Seattle's
Yeah, no,
cool.
Seattle's
really
fine.
cool.
Yeah, it's
Pacific
Pikes
Northwest-
Market?
Yeah, I mean, coffee everywhere.
yeah.
I swear
As a matter of
it's
fact,
the
I
best
would
place ever.
It's what's funny is I've never been to Seattle's airport, but I know enough people who've been there, and I've read enough about it
It's
that
horrible.
Miami and LAX suck. Seattle may be worse than both of those, and that says a lot.
All right, we'll back off on Seattle then.
The city, not the airport.
Right.
Yeah.
There were statues of Mr. Wonderful.
Can we go ahead and just note that the collective is called In Decline? I don't know if you mentioned that. But
I did not.
Okay.
Nude statues of Donald Trump
Nudes.
with no genitalia.
No, partial genitalia.
Partial.
Does it partial?
It said partial.
Yeah, it said partial.
What do you call partial genitalia?
I don't know. I didn't.
Penis,
It's-
no
The
balls,
the
balls,
collective
no
work
penis.
title. The
Yeah.
collective title of the work. The Emperor has no balls. Okay, so I suppose a penis was involved.
Sans testicles is what
That's how the French would say it wrongly.
Testicles.
hey, for the French were the created democracy. You don't get to say the French wrongly. They're
No, I'm
always
saying
right.
the French, if they said sans testicles, would be saying it wrongly.
Sans testicles.
They'd be
Is that
doing
like
it-
A philosopher?
they'd be doing
Sans
ex-
testicles. Wasn't he like?
He was
Greek?
pre-Aristotelian.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm choking my tongue trying to say
Aristotelian.
that. So they just popped up.
The statues or his balls?
They
Well, he has no balls, so it would be his penis.
Okay.
But it's okay. His penis is small, so you probably wouldn't even notice it.
So in New York, the unauthorized installation appeared to surprise passersby, prompting stares, giggles, and shrugs of amusement from park visitors. Ina Cope.
Ina Cope, right there, the name Ina Cope. I just think that name's hilarious.
Well, that's what you got to do.
That's what I got out of the whole
That's
article.
when
Is this lady's name Ina Cope, who's 58 years old.
When a 5-year-old can't deal with something. Ina Cope.
Ina Cope. Ina Cope.
A 50-year-old retiree. Look at her. She's already 58.
Okay, so she's got
retired.
time to worry about things that have no value at all.
Those are the worst.
From the Bronx borough of New York, said she was not expecting to see the Trump statue, because you don't expect something like that, when she got off the subway to meet a friend for lunch. It was crazy. I was coming off the train, minding my own business, and there was naked Trump. That's crazy. Mae Ferguson, a Parks Department spokeswoman, said the statue was removed
Mae Ferguson.
because the installation of any unapproved structure is illegal in any city park. The activist collective, a group called In Decline, that includes artists, musicians, and filmmakers, claimed ownership of the work, saying in an email that the statues were also placed in all those cities that I previously said.
And an artist
It
called
said Ginger.
It was me.
Helped create the likeness.
It was not.
Were you the dick model?
No, I was not.
No.
I was probably the dick model. Eek, it's a running gag.
So we've got all these statues of naked Trump. They try to get a Trump spokesman to talk about it, and they got no response, of course.
I take the political thing out of it. I think that this guerrilla artists, like these graffiti artists, are a good example. I think they're really cool because they're creating art that like surprises you. It may offend you. You may, oh, that's horrible. I hate that. But you see it and it makes you think about it. It makes you think about, okay, what are they trying to say?
So I guess
Like the flag that you talked about in the last episode that I completely destroyed.
yeah.
A black man, was it a black man?
The black man was hung today,
Hung
or
today.
something like that. Yeah.
Lynched.
Lynched. Matter of fact,
today.
let's just go ahead and put the link to that article on the website, because I just think it's an important article.
So what up? God, good Christ, what was that?
Did you say what up?
Yes.
Why did you say
We're
what
done.
up?
We're done.
You're far.
I'm out. I apologize, everybody.
Don't
We'll
push
see
that button.
episode
We're gonna
8.
keep going. This white guy saying "what up" is first. A middle-aged white guy saying it is never a good idea.
Middle-aged white guy.
So, I actually love that we're doing this art thing again, because to me it's very important, and I found the controversy to these statues interesting. Amber Tamblyn, who you may know or may not know, but she was in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And I don't want to get deep into who she is, but that was a pretty big movie. I've watched it with my daughter. It's actually pretty good.
Oh.
She actually slammed the naked Donald Trump statues.
Physically?
No, and not sexually either.
No.
Her issue was that they exemplified this body shaming position, where we're looking at I'm interested.
Okay, all right, I can see that.
Yeah. So Caps, you had the comment you had made about the artistic the artistic position being made. I thought it would be fun to delve into that a bit, because I thought her counter argument was actually stronger than the argument being made, because the emperor has no clothes or the emperor has no balls. I get that, but I'm not sure that the general public gets that. I think the general public tends to perceive the physical presence of the Trump character, the belly.
He's fat and disgusting.
The belly that's sitting over his
Right.
genitalia, that it's visually offensive. And I think if you take a feminist approach to this, and the requirement for women to quote unquote, it's not even quote unquote, it's for women to assume a specific position of beauty that aligns with the culture, as opposed to beauty being more of a subjective position, I think her argument is pretty strong. I think it's a good question to ask, is whether or not naked Trump is making a statement about Trump and his ideas, or it actually is just body shaming, that we're able to look at someone who we find physically repulsive and then make this aesthetic and somewhat material evaluation of the person. Because we can all agree that, look, if you've seen the three of us, we are not handsome men.
Speak for
I mean,
yourself.
again, no one wants to see him in a Speedo. We're not going to be asked to be on Bachelor in Paradise. And
I was asked to be Bachelor in Paradise before I got married. What do you mean?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
seeing
but you're
that.
like one of the guys from the first episode of American Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Before they knew that they had something.
So I mean, Trump is younger Trump. I get it, but it does worry me a bit that much like the Democrats criticized Palin for
Right.
being too attractive, we're now going to criticize Trump for being.
I don't think well, okay, me as the eternal optimist, I would like to think, and not knowing what any of the members of In Decline look like, I'm going to imagine 43% are overweight.
Well, but I'm not
At
sure.
least.
I'm not sure it's relevant what they look like. I think what's relevant is what they're presenting to the general public.
But I don't think that was their intention. I think their intention, short-sighted though it may be, was just to shame Trump.
Yeah.
But so
In the process, they ended up body shaming everybody.
well, and it's interesting, right? Because now now that we're talking about intention, we are putting the onus on the individual. But art in and of itself is subjective, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're in this quandary to where you've created the art and the intentionality of the artist. Once you the intentionality of the artist is lost once it's given to the public, because by definition you're asking the public.
We're going to
We
take
decide
what we want from
what
it.
we make out of it.
Right. So so to me, Amber Tamblin's comments or position is less a criticism of the people who created it and more a criticism of us as a culture.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because to me
But was that her intention?
her direct intention was that this is a problem, that this is a body shaming problem, that you should have done a better job of dealing with Trump's issues, and that bringing in Trump's physicality was problematic. But I think both of you you raise a strong counter argument that it's.
Well, no, I can see where she would come from that. They were short-sighted in making him fat. I think they could have made him in a perfect body, taken away his genitals, and it would have had the same exact message.
It's a caricature. It's a caricature of Trump. It's not like they took a body cast of him and he's really this way.
I think it's
We
pretty
don't know
close.
that.
Well,
But I mean, so I mean, is it? I don't know. Is it truly body shaming, or is it just, haha, that's this funny caricature of a person? Again,
I think
it
that was
goes
their
back- that
intention,
their
was just
intention.
to slam him, but in the process, they also.
Yeah.
Well, but, so her comment was that it promotes body shaming, and I think that what we're sort of dancing around here, or what we're directly commenting on, is that saying that it promotes body shaming really is nothing more than a perspective of the problem, because we can agree that it promotes body shaming, but that's just one way to look at it. You can also look at it from the intention of the artist itself. So it's almost like we need to pull back and when it comes to art, be very careful of making absolute claims of what the artist saying.
Right.
We can respect her position, and we can agree that, well, it might be doing that, but it's also doing this. I just thought her voice was an interesting voice because she doesn't support Trump, and yet she came out in support of him, and I thought that was a critical and a very, quite frankly, a strong philosophical.
Did she come out? I know we haven't gotten to that point.
No, she came out. I mean, there are multiple media outlets that are covering her position on this Trump.
So was it?
caricature.
It was not just anti In Decline. It was pro-Trump.
No, I'm sorry. No, she's anti-Trump. She's
Oh,
saying
okay, I
she's saying-
apologize.
yeah.
I
Coming
apologize.
to his defense.
Yeah, she's
about-
just coming to the defense of saying, well, look, what I sort of buried the lead here. What she's saying is that we're, in a sense, we're sort of bringing ourselves to Trump's level, if we're using a naked Trump in the body shaming, because
Right.
Trump has made these past claims about protecting America, which almost you can argue that he's protecting white America, he's protecting European America, and I don't want to get into that arena, but it's a position that can be argued, and to me the beauty of her position is that you have someone who doesn't support this person ideologically, but she recognizes how he's being criticized is inconsistent with the ethos of those who are doing the criticizing. So it's a good reality check for us as a culture that says, well, look, if we're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard, let's make sure that we're honoring the standard itself. And that's why I thought that that you bringing this up was a very interesting philosophical dilemma, because it's, we can loathe Trump, but we can also agree with some of the things he says. That doesn't mean we support him, but we can't universally and absolutely dismiss an individual because we don't like something of what they've said or a single position they hold.
Right.
So I thought that this was a great article.
Look at me, huh?
This is actually
job.
I was ready to steamroll it too.
This is one of the better articles I thought that's been brought into the podcast, because it does cross that line, and it allows us to show the better side of humanity.
So do we want to take the personal side of this now? There's been a few articles out since Trump is going to be president, which
he's actually not going to be
we
president.
all know he's not going to be president. However, the fear of the possibility of Trump being president has caused articles to come out centered around, if he did and you wanted to bail, where would you go?
So it's leading into the where would you live?
Yeah,
Where if you were going to get out of the country, which, to be honest with you, even if this was not an issue, Trump was not an issue, there's probably a lot of people, including myself, who wouldn't mind, let's just check out where else we can make this happen.
Well, I will have to say that based on my IT background, as I'm looking through your list, I'm looking for any of the countries that talk about IT backgrounds, and I want to go to Switzerland, but apparently Switzerland's, they'll only let you in if the job can't be filled by a citizen, so you're sort of limited.
Yeah, they're not allowing people to come in and get work permits, and
which is just
borders are very tight.
It's a small country. I mean, there's limited resources, which is smart. I would probably, and again, I know that Chris, you'll share this on the website, so we don't have to go through other countries.
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and change my career choice, and I'm gonna go to New Zealand and do tourism. I'm totally cool with that. So.
I'm right there with you. Yeah. That was my choice when I saw. I was between New Zealand and Canada, just because Canada seems like wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah.
I generally like to take the easy path.
Toronto, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's a
close
nice
to home.
city.
If you change your mind, crossing the border is a lot easier than flying 16 miles to get back to the States.
Pre-meditation, Chris goes to Canada. Post-meditation, Chris, let's go to New Zealand.
I'm not going to United Arab Emirates, by the way.
Yeah. The fact that was on the list kind of made me go, I don't want to get kidnapped.
But you can make a lot of money there, dude. There's money to be had at the Emirates.
Yeah, as ransom.
Now, I would do somewhere in Europe. I think the Germany area would be kind of cool.
Another IT country, by the way. So did anybody think of the Netherlands? I mean, the Netherlands are finance, food processing, chemicals, and oil.
I like food, so...
I don't think they pay you to eat it, though.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's... Yeah. Ireland's good. Ireland's tech, finance, healthcare, and medical research.
Potatoes.
So,
Let's
just call the whole thing off.
Done.
This was actually a kind of an interesting article. It was cool to see what other countries value, from an occupational standpoint.
Right.
So,
they said Singapore was one of them, and I know a lot of people from the Philippines that vacation in Singapore.
Well, you've been to that part of the world quite a bit, right?
Yeah. Well, I've been to the Philippines, so. But yeah, I mean, apparently, like Singapore is a pretty high on the list of things that you want to do. So,
where are you going, Beebs?
I would probably, if I had to choose from this list, I don't know. Switzerland looks really cool. I was thinking Switzerland would be really neat.
Coffee.
Hiking.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Well,
hiking?
Hiking in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Switzerland. Hiking.
Just beautiful country. But
you can do that too.
I think Germany. I think Germany would be probably. If I had to pick one off the list, would be
I will tell you, the interesting thing about you posting this article, and this sort of goes back to the whole White Mountains thing and realizing your limits. Moving to another country is a big deal. I think in another podcast we talked about me going to France and having this breakdown and actually crying in a hotel room because of the language barrier and not having access to information. I mean, we can romanticize moving to these countries, but it's a big deal. The security we have in America as white males is huge. And I'm not saying that, look, we're talking about Germany and New Zealand, so it's not like we're going to Sudan.
Not just white, just as Americans,
Yeah.
not just white males, the security period, safety-wise, physical safety, it's different in other countries.
Go to South America. I mean, it's South America by far is no Africa, but go to South America, and when they recognize you as Americans, and you don't have to go there, you can read about it. It's
And don't be a
And I looked.
swimmer
This
in
was
Rio
not the only. This was not the only
because-
and
list.
don't lie about being.
Don't lie about it because.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
But no, I mean, but this again, and then it's look. I'm going to give you credit again. This article, it just, and I don't know if this is me coming back from the whites and having a different perspective on the world.
I'm
but
good with that.
But it just it inspired, or it not inspired it. It got me thinking about what it would be like to live not here, and
I know it's. That's why I put it on there because
I wish I
kind of want to do it.
I wish I had done that because like Matt, our friend Matt, who moved to Japan, lived in after he graduated from college, he moved to Japan and lived there. He lives there now.
Still there. He's been
Still
there
there,
for
so
20 plus years.
I
has
wish.
he hiked Mount Fuji, by the way?
Who knows?
Matt, if you're listening,
He's kind
we
of
need to
dropped
know
off
if
the
you-
map, to be honest with
We
you.
need to
dropped
know
off the
if Matt, off the
Oh,
map.
Matt, sorry,
We need
okay.
to make sure that you are still alive. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I wish I had done it when I didn't have kids. But I would still, if something were to ever happen to my job, I would find an expat job somewhere else because I can make bank. And you know, I'd go somewhere and make $100,000, $200,000, do a 2-year contract, and you know, rent the house out.
Yeah.
My cousin's actually, well, Kwajalein, which is in the Marshall Islands, is it's a missile testing base for the U.S. and they do a lot of
Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, they say he's gonna go. Yeah.
But they do a lot of contract jobs. You do like a 4-year contract, and they pay you
But there's Godzilla.
$200,000 to do this.
Hazard pay's great.
And it's like you get like
Not
a
really.
bachelor stipend, and I mean, or not bachelor, but like a family stipend.
I was gonna ask you
Yeah.
about that.
No, the bachelors actually live in like dormitories, but families they put you up in a
Like military barracks, but
no. It's like my cousin lived. They did like 2 tours. They did like back-to-back tours.
Wow.
And he said it's like a small town. You go and you hang out, and you know there's like a ham radio club, or there's a book reading club, and you're in the middle of this
People who have been
beautiful
trampled by
island,
Godzilla Club.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not letting it go.
That's
The big
not-
lizard.
I would do that.
That's
I
actually-
would do that.
But that's cool. It's. I mean, obviously it's scary, but it's. I mean, that's how you embrace your humanity as you move beyond your barriers, and you get scared.
Well, like I went over. I mean, when I went overseas, I wasn't scared because I wasn't in a scary place. But there were areas. It's eye-opening when you go to other countries and you see, okay, you know, America. Yeah, there's crap that goes on here, and we get frustrated. But
Yeah, hard.
it's not.
Yeah.
You know.
Poor white people.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I mean, so
But again, Chris, just top notch share.
good choice.
I don't know how to deal with this. I really don't. I know how to deal with it. We're going to skip the Week in Evil because Wade's not here, obviously. And we got a guy. We got a guy who listens to this show. Friend of Caps and I.
Is it Eric?
It's not Eric.
Good, because that son of a bitch likes Trump, and I just can't tell.
Robbie St. John. St. John. That's all you can do. St. John. He introduced us to
Heroin?
my dick.
Yeah.
Hold it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You had to have a friend introduce you to your own dick?
It happens sometimes.
So
I've
you
been
lose it.
meditating.
It's like Trump.
You lose track.
You lose track of it. The
Chris,
little
are you
body
that
shaming.
fat?
Little body shaming going on.
Are you shaming me?
buddy? Am I shaming you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a fat son of a bitch. I'm shaming you, and I'm offending your mom. So there you go.
2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
That's a
Fuck you.
pissed off cat.
Fuck you and fuck me.
Who's next?
Who's next? Robbie St. John gave us my dick. He gave all of us my dick.
Oh, it's not good.
And
It's-
let me explain how wonderful my dick is.
No,
please,
no,
please,
Let
please.
him explain.
Here's
No,
what happened.
it's-
No, here's what happened.
Art is subjective.
Eric
And I'm
Clapton.
telling you, it's
Eric,
not wonderful.
Eric Clapton lost his son. Eric Clapton.
No,
no.
Wonderful.
This is
No, you just went
There's-
from my
here's-
dick
this
to
is-
will I see you in heaven? That's
this is where my dick goes. Okay. Eric Clapton. Tragedy. 49-foot fall off a balcony.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything worse?
Yeah,
When
as
it
a matter of
happened-
fact, the
when it
Holocaust
happened-
comes to mind, but Caps, can you think of anything worse
I
than
try not to
a
think of
single
that.
child falling off a balcony? Maybe Stalin? I don't know, Pol Pot? Stop me when I've hit something that is worse than one child dying.
Okay.
Should I keep going? I don't know, Charlemagne, the Inquisition, the Crusades,
Not going with yes and, perhaps.
Not going with yes and. That's tragic right there. Yes and.
Tragedy. Absolute tragedy.
Okay, yeah.
The death of a child. Falling from 40. Just imagine it.
Again,
Imagine it.
Just imagine in your head without speaking.
Because this is where my dick comes in.
I've got so many things in my head right now. I'm going to explode.
So, I remember the story. I remember the song. You heard a song about it.
Just for the sake of clarity, you went from imagine a child falling from a 49-foot balcony to this is where my dick comes in.
Exactly.
They're going to disallow us to ever do a podcast ever again.
But I've got to illustrate just how.
I'm not sure you need to illustrate anything.
I do. I feel that I need to illustrate
I need a bath.
the awesomeness.
I need an adult. I need an adult.
The power of my dick.
Oh my God! It's not getting any better.
So.
Hey, remember when you were pissed off at me, Caps? No?
I can recall how terrible I felt about this tragedy. Clapton writes a song.
You're a shitty human being.
The
I just want you to
first
know.
line.
You're going to hell.
The first line of the song is, "Would you know my name?" Talking to his dead son. If I saw you in heaven. Here's what my dick did. Wait, do you have the name? Is that the name of the group?
It's right here.
Is that the name of the group? Is the name of the group my dick?
I
name
don't
of the
even
group
want
is
to be
My
part
Dick.
of this right now. I didn't know you were doing this. I don't want to be here. You're an awful person.
Horrible. It's horrible.
You're,
Right.
you're
Do this for me, please. Stay with my dick.
I have no.
It's my dick?
It's my dick.
Is it my dick?
No.
The name of the band is My Dick.
2012.
Track 14.
My Dick releases
I don't want to be sober.
an album
I don't.
where they take pop songs from the 80s, 90s, and more, and they insert my dick into them.
Oh, the humanity. Are you doing this on
Before-
purpose?
before-
Are you doing this on purpose? Are you choosing the words on purpose?
Every damn bit of it. Every single bit of it.
Is it because you're growing a beard? You've gone from goatee to beard. Is this what happens?
I hadn't thought about that.
It's the meditation.
But that might
No,
be it.
Buddha has nothing to do with this.
Buddha has nothing to do with my dick. And that's the issue.
This is terrible.
One of the songs they did was the song that Clapton wrote about his dead son.
For the record,
and they
Clapton,
changed the lyric.
Eric, I apologize. This is we sympathize with you losing your son. This is a bad thing. Chris is just he's in a.
Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? I mean, that's so sad.
It's
It's
not
so sad.
now.
Eric dies. He goes to heaven. He doesn't even know if his dead child,
Will you just
who's been in heaven,
Will you just go
chilling.
Say the lyric. Just say it.
And I just said the word chilling as well. Took the G.
Well,
There's
you're
no
in
G.
the you're in the South. There's no G in our alphabet, so just say it.
What do you even
Chris.
know? What do you
Chris,
even
say
know?
it. Just say it.
Change the lyric.
Say it.
Would you know my dick? If I saw you in heaven.
Wrong. It is so wrong on so many levels.
You could have chosen Born in the USA. You chose Eric Clapton's song
And I
about the
did
death
that.
of his son.
I did that for a reason.
No, but
No, I'm trying, let me say the word again because I love it. I'm trying to illustrate the point of how wonderful my dick is. My dick is so wonderful. My dick took a song that just destroyed me 20 years ago, 25, whenever it was. made me laugh till I cried. That's how it took from one extreme to the other. That's the beauty of my dick.
You know what?
That's the beauty, Brian, of my dick.
Only redeeming.
I can't
part
stop doing
of
this at this point. I want to do the rest of the podcast referring to my dick.
This is going to be a 3-hour podcast.
That's how beautiful
about my
this
dick.
is.
You realize that, don't you?
Robbie St. John, I love you. I want to thank you for making this the best podcast we'll ever do.
We're going to have to. You are. If anyone is going to listen to this full podcast,
And we're not going to play it. People have to go
You have
listen
to
to
go
this.
listen
You
to
have to go. The singer,
Do it at home.
The singer is horrid.
he can't sing.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
The joke doesn't last very long.
1 or 2 songs is about all I could listen to.
I will tell you. So I'm going to criticize. I've been criticizing Chris. Caps seems to be expressing my existential angst over this whole thing. In fairness to Chris, I will refer to the Spaces conversation we were having, and I'm noting that 90% of this is awful, but the 10% that is good totally
It's beautiful.
trumps, no pun intended, the bad. And I'm quoting Wang Sheng is a band I saw that I enjoyed, and I believe they had a lyric. Their lyrics were, "Everybody Wang dick my dick tonight. Everybody chung dick my." Born in the USA, when he invokes my dick, is
It's
probably
actually dancing in the
Dancing in the
dark.
Dark.
Dancing in my
on
dick.
my list.
Yeah, dick on my list. I'm telling you, there are probably a half a dozen songs of the 14 that he has that are going to make listening to this worth it.
Oh no, it's
Tracy
20,
Chapman.
It's
You got a fast
23
dick?
Yeah, it's 23 tracks,
Okay.
and there's like a duet and a live. They
And
do
this
a
goes
live.
this goes back to episode 1 of this podcast. What was the big story we had episode 1?
I don't remember.
Penis transplant.
Oh, okay.
Why was that wonderful? Because dicks are funny.
Everybody Wayne dick
Dicks
tonight.
are
Everybody Chang
funny.
dick tonight.
Pussies funny?
No.
Not so much. Dicks hilarious.
I don't know why pussies
All dicks are funny.
Yeah.
Large dicks, not so much.
Well, they're intimidating.
I can't get on large dicks. I'm gonna keep doing it.
I love
This
you.
is almost
I
gone
love
as-
you.
It's
love
almost
you
as
so
good as
much right
he's
now.
replaced the poontang and
No,
poing.
don't. That was
It's
dead in there.
replaced
No,
that.
stop talking about it. Stop, no.
Bang
don't.
bang.
No,
Bang,
no,
bang,
don't say
bang,
no,
bang.
don't.
My dick.
This is a great segment. I didn't know you were starting with Clapton. That's.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
You are good. This is. Put your flag at the top of the mountain. This is your Everest. You've climbed it.
My dick.
Yeah.
All right.
Where do we go from here?
I don't think we
Now that
go
all the children are
anywhere.
grown up, how do we spend our lives now that no one gave us a hand?
Oh,
What are we at? Like 2.5
dicks people
hours
play.
now?
Whoa! You say you don't remember anything. Name of the band.
The Alan
Parsons Project.
Dick Project. I gotta dick it all.
No, stop it.
All right, I
Please
can't.
don't.
I can't stop
Yeah.
dicking.
I don't want to do into news because I didn't read any of the
You
things
son of a
you
bitch.
shared.
We got no. Let's do.
Okay.
Let's do. Man has sex with van.
Yes, this one.
Man
what?
van sex. Man van.
You didn't read that?
Man
It's-
van?
Man van.
Man van.
Oh,
Let's go to Ohio.
I almost feel like I should share the story of the guy that got drunk and whose wife locked him in a storage unit and then tried to escape through the small hole. But for another day. Yeah, if you're listening to this, go ahead and Google that. It's an impressive story. Don't piss your wife off when you're drunk.
All right, you do the man van. I'll do the drones.
Yeah, so the man van thing is on the news a few days ago. There was a guy arrested in Ohio for allegedly.
Hold it. Can it be Cleveland? Please let it be Cleveland.
Let me see.
It's important that it's Cleveland.
Ohio man is all it says. Dayton Police Department.
Dayton.
Yeah, it's
Dayton.
fine. I was gonna go Cleveland steamer on you there. But,
Very good.
yeah.
No, he didn't do the Cleveland Steamer. He tried to have sex with a van. Now, I want you to just
Where would you do it?
exactly.
You got to pick a spot.
passenger
hold
van.
Hold it. So has the van been running?
I don't know that it doesn't
Yeah,
say.
you. So So before you get involved in this, what's interesting about this is I'm doing this audiobook on the history of Vice, and I'm not finished yet.
Are you up to Miami yet?
I'm on chapter 16. I want to talk about this in a later podcast. But one of it's basically talking about how vice is what we consider vice, like prostitution, hallucinogenics, alcohol, that historically it's sort of crossed the line that it's been a virtue for some cultures. One of the drugs he talks about is a drug that makes you attracted to inanimate objects. So we're going to parlay your van story.
Very specific.
It is very specific.
Yeah.
It could be that could be the case. The dude looks like a winner. If you go to the seriously, we're going to link that into the webpage and the WordPress site, all that.
So I assume there was some sarcasm in that.
Yeah, the guy looks like somebody that would have sex with a van. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm walking down the street, you see this dude. Yeah, he would have sex with a van.
Oh, I've never looked at anyone and thought.
What's it going to do? Drive away?
Yeah.
Come on.
So
you can't like having sex
so
with
the Dayton, Ohio police received a 911 call about a guy. A man
Yeah, don't call
pulling his
911.
Well, no,
pants.
Don't call 911 ever.
No, in Dayton they call 911 because they don't have the time. Yeah.
911. I got to get this. Yeah, he pulled down his pants and was. He had his pants down. He was swinging on top of a sign. So it started with that. He's hanging off a stop sign.
It's this actual stop sign.
Yeah.
An actual stop sign. He's swinging his.
So he's
Not obeying. Not obeying the
yeah.
sign.
So the irony is not lost on.
Okay, and then the 911 caller reported that during the autoerotic encounter
With the sign?
apparently, he was trying to have sex with the front grille of a passenger van.
Does it matter what type of van it was? Was it a Honda Odyssey or Toyota Sienna?
Yeah, we're getting into specifics here.
Yeah, Sienna doesn't have a grill.
So I think I'm missing the point that someone just wants to have sex with a car.
Yeah. So and then he tries to have sex with the car. Apparently, it doesn't work.
Apparently.
You think the car maybe wasn't
It
attractive
does say
to him?
sticking. It says the caller reported that the suspect was seen, quote, sticking his genitals in the grill of a red van at this intersection.
Oh, well, red is erotic, so
Okay.
that makes
Right,
sense
it
that
is.
he would. I mean,
And then the man laid down and passed out.
did he ejaculate?
So I know that doesn't go into detail on that one.
Rumor has it the van came first.
Well,
And
at
the
least he
victim-
was thinking about the vase.
Before rising to begin walking around in circles like he was on some type of drug.
Oh.
Then it points out the victim was parked at the time, so it wasn't a moving van.
Okay, so
The
tailpipes
victim.
would have been an option.
Are they classifying the van as the victim?
Yeah, I think we're sort of stretching the definition.
Because it's so hard for a van to come
You
forward.
get some weird stuff.
They don't usually like to talk about it. Kind of like cabs.
Yeah. And the cops
You're welcome, America.
And the cops tracked down the owner of the violated van, but he told them he had not witnessed what investigators termed the sex act.
Is it strange that I find the concern over the van and the van owner being sort of an element of the conversation?
The victim was parked at the time. So are they saying the person that made the call, is that the victim, or is the van the victim?
Is PIP enough to cover this? Do you need
No,
collision?
you need collision on this one.
probably
You
need-
need
yeah.
collision.
But what's odd is this would be like me going into someone's garden and fucking their watermelon and them acting like the watermelon was violated. I'm not sure the watermelon has...
It might have feelings.
I'm pretty sure
It might
doesn't.
have rights.
I bet you it has more feelings than a van.
I'll argue that with you, Chris.
I'm
Maybe
sure
at
you
another
would.
point in time. I kind of think they're the same thing.
So
I know, I was kinda
thought
hoping-
it
But the
was
only
interesting.
different thing is that you can actually eat the watermelon out.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you, America. Yeah, that was a cat.
That
Was
was
that
a little,
yours?
That was mine. It was a little weird.
Yeah, but it's again. I'm telling you, what we're talking about here is intriguing me. I find that the whole idea that we would consider a van or the van owner violated by someone penetrating the grill.
I mean, I'd take a pressure washer to it if it was me. I just
Yeah, I can. If
You
the
find
authorities
this
came
out,
to me
yeah.
and said, there was a guy fucking the grill of your vehicle, I'd be all right with that.
I'd kind of say, why are you bothering with this? Isn't there something else you should?
As
be
long as
doing?
I wasn't in the vehicle,
Yeah.
and he wasn't trying to clean my windshield.
As long as I wasn't the vehicle.
You're telling me I need to run it through a car wash, is what you're
I
saying.
got and quite frankly, I'm not even sure I would even care enough to run through a car wash. It's some guy fucking a car.
Yeah, that's worth the story.
It's
If you got physical proof, if you're going to tell that story, you got to show people the proof.
I'm having a
Will
hard.
you look at this?
Why is this a crime?
Well, the indecent exposure. But apparently it was held on like a $2,500 bail.
Yeah, there's really no precedent for that.
Yeah, like, what are we, the judge is like, oh, let's just.
You don't think our founding fathers thought about this when they were writing the Bill of Rights?
I don't think all of them did. I'm sure it was discussed.
Yeah. One day there's going to be cars and people are going to fuck it. We should probably solve this problem.
Really? What are we in Dayton?
I don't even think Ohio was a state at that point.
Son of a gun. So drones,
Drones.
they kill people all the time.
You know what they also do? They also take really good pictures of national parks.
They deliver packages.
Packages.
Like
Or
dicks.
Amazon wants to
Is
do
this a
that.
dick
Amazon,
thing again?
no.
Or are you just?
This is not a dick thing.
Oh, you're talking about actual like boxes of.
Yeah,
No,
parcels,
Amazon,
whatnot.
You didn't read the article, but you've heard about Amazon wanting to use
I'm
drones.
familiar with Amazon.
Amazon. Yeah.
Have you heard of Amazon?
Amazon.
You're talking
wanted
about the
to
forest,
use-
or you're talking?
The women on the moon.
Oh yeah, well that's what I thought we were talking about.
No,
Drones and women
the
on the moon.
ladies in the jungle that.
So you want to take one thing and you want to take it to another place,
Right.
But you want to do it without a lot of attention.
Could you do it in a van that someone's fucking?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not as well as
A drone?
what prisoners have been doing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Britain.
Prisoners have been receiving phones and drugs and money from drones.
Is it against the law to do that?
I believe
Yes,
it is.
very much
It-
so.
It probably is now.
So it
I
wasn't-
think in the beginning,
Yeah.
had nobody had thought about this might be an issue, so there wasn't a law.
So then it's not a problem for them to get it from drones until the law is created.
No, it's
Right.
a problem because they're giving contraband to people that are incarcerated, which is illegal, regardless
Look,
of
they're
how
incar-
you get it to them. You could use a T-shirt launcher.
I just thought that was against the law. To put it in
Shuriken.
cakes. I didn't realize.
a shuriken?
A Japanese throwing.
Yeah, but I
star.
can't understand the how that would be a good
How-
thing
yeah, how
for,
am I
It's a
gonna-
delivery
for
system.
the
I
receiver.
don't know. Tape a joint to it, and
Oh, okay, something small.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm just giving examples.
So what prison were these drones
This was
going
actually in England, in the UK,
to? Oh, good. Yeah.
because it's okay in the UK
It's
to
okay in the
receive
UK.
bang bang. All right.
I am going to punch you in the jaw. So don't be shocked when it happens.
You're gonna shame my testicleless body.
Take your clothes off, Chris. You're going to London.
So yeah, that's the thing that happened,
Yeah, drones.
and that's all.
So
I
I'm just because I didn't read the article. I'm just very curious. So no one in say the towers in the prison noticed drones coming.
No,
in.
that's
Oh,
what,
eventually they did.
Yeah,
Oh,
eventually
no,
they did.
eventually they did.
Eventually they did.
So you didn't miss the first 10?
I'm gonna say it doesn't say in the article, but I'm gonna say they were usually happened in the evening,
Okay, all right.
and still, I mean, maybe depending on how big the prison was, how big the prison yard was.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. I more respect the ability of someone to be creative in getting something to someone in prison.
The picture, they've got a picture of it here. It looks no bigger than your hand,
You know what?
and it's also white.
Okay. Look, I don't know who's getting it. I don't know why the people are in prison. We assume they're in prison on just cause. So I don't trust the penal system. So as far as I'm concerned, these could be people in prison who, quite frankly, deserve to get whatever they're getting via the drones.
Well, they're getting cell phones to contact outside of prison
Good for them.
and drugs.
Yeah, I mean, the prison system in itself is archaic and inhumane. So I say I applaud.
Oh, so we should just let them roam out in the.
That seems to be a bit of a stretch from the drones.
I know, but I'm just kind of. You got to take an extreme whenever
It says
somebody.
the recovered drones carried
Go way over here.
carried a substantial amount of Class B drugs.
What's a Class B drug?
Illegal highs.
Not as good.
Not a well-researched article. Yeah, I'm sort of taking the devil's advocate position here. Obviously, it's problematic, but it is creative, right? I mean, you have to admit that.
I mean, I as much as I don't want to, I have to admire them for at least trying.
Mm-hmm. Well, and look, we need the laws. I mean, it's a new. You've got people spying on people with drones now, and there's no laws out there that says you can't fly something above your personal property in order to get pictures of you. So
Somebody's taking pictures of me. I don't go outside, so.
you'd be surprised what I've seen you.
I don't think he'd be right.
Not at all.
He's there when it happens.
He just doesn't know I'm watching and touching myself. So,
Well,
I love myself.
that goes
I
without
want you
saying.
to love me.
So let's roll into the review.
Wade's not here.
Yeah, but you want to do Man
So
in
we're
the High
going to back
Castle?
it up. We're
Do I
going to
wanna
back it
do
up.
The Man in the High Castle?
Do you want to do it?
This is a pretty sexualized podcast.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
So I finally finished the book Man in the High Castle.
So tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, we've
Beard.
discussed the show.
So Man in the High Castle, as we've discussed before, is a series on Amazon Prime. Second season's supposed to come out sometime this year. Chris, you had asked me not to give away the book.
Correct. Just because I've seen the whole first
Right,
season.
yeah, well, pretty much-
The end of the season.
I will let you know that
hooked me in.
the season, what you've seen, pretty much.
Yeah, everything in the book pretty much covers.
Yeah, because Caps you've also.
I read the book
Yeah.
and I watched the series.
So it's
I'm not as reedy.
it's probably less.
If you're not a reedy person, you would not read this book.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's so. Well, Brian, what was interesting to me is that, and you obviously have a different perspective on this. I'm reading the book after seeing the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm reading the book, and this is where my highs and lows came, there's this correlation to what has been conveyed within the visual medium, which is unfair to the book.
Mm-hmm.
Can we give a brief synopsis?
Yeah, so the book is basically, and this
Because it is an interesting subject.
Yeah, the subject is basically that FDR is assassinated, so we continue an isolationist position with respect to World War II, which severely inhibits our ability to be a military power, and the Japanese and the German, the Axis powers, win the war. So this is considered an alternate view of history, but there's this book, which is The Grasshopper Lies
Heavy.
The Grasshopper Lies Heavy, which basically presents this alternate history of the history they're living, which is that the Allies won the war. And in the book, I can't say that now because that's sort of a big.
Well,
I was going to talk about what happened with England, but that's really that's a reveal that you didn't expect coming. So, but the series pretty much tells you about what the ending of the book is about. So if you've seen it,
if you've seen the series, you're not losing
it's no
anything
news
by
to you
reading the book.
Yeah, you know that there's this conflict between the Allies winning and the Axis winning, and then determining what's real. The interesting thing about the book is that there's no closure.
Yeah.
And he was did he write the other book or
No?
So I know he was working on it and never finished it, and I think that's the beauty of the Amazon Prime show is they're taking creative license to talk about how you reconcile this alternate reality. Because I will say that while it's a challenge to read the book, having seen the show, once you sort of overcome that middle section of the book where it kind of drags.
Yeah,
they
talk about the historicity of stuff.
Yeah,
and you're kind of like.
And then you're dealing with the art dealer, which is not as prominent in the series, but is. What's interesting, what Philip K. Dick does is he uses these the guy that's doing the jewelry and the whole I Ching. That's very significant in the book, and there's a definite play between iconography and religion, and how we appreciate elements of our culture. And I think that was my biggest gain from the book, is that the superficial and the materialistic nature of American culture, to where we will, and it was a small part of the book, but I thought it spoke a lot to the theme, where we will embrace things that have really no intrinsic value, but they bring us immediate gratification. But once that's gone, it's lost on us. And I thought it was intriguing that the characters gravitated towards Asian culture or Japanese culture and dismissed the German culture, which was more more framed within this technological advancement.
They were more. They had like in this universe, they have rocket ships and they have supersonic jets,
which you get to like Germany to San Francisco in like 12 minutes or something.
And it's like so there's a lot of technological advances where the Japanese people are still steeped in the tradition of the emperor being the god figure and that sort of thing. So it's I like Philip K. Dick. It was not one of my favorite.
It's not my Philip K. Dick, by the way.
I like him as a writer, and I like a lot of stuff that he does, but this one was not like high on my list because I did the same thing. I watched the first couple episodes and then I read the book.
Okay, so you didn't finish the series first.
I didn't finish the series first, so then I read the book and I was like, well, wait a minute, what the? And then I'm like, let me go back. I had to like keep going back to certain pages because it's like, well, okay. I Ching, I don't know what it is. It's the Japanese. They take the sticks and they throw them down, or Chinese take the sticks and throw them down, and it reads passages depending on how they lay, and that's supposed to tell your future or your direction. So that plays big into the book. I think more so than in the series. I mean, it comes into play in the series, but in the book, he keeps going back to that. All the characters reference it, and then at the end of the book, it's okay, why the one lady finds the guy that made this, wrote the novel within the novel, and why did you write this? Is it true? Type of thing, and then that's kind of the end where the resolution is, I'll ruin it for you. But
you get closure, but you don't get.
Yeah,
closure.
you get closure. It's like
I will disagree with you to just slightly. I thought that the ending of the book actually does a really nice job of saving some of the lower points, and I think the ending actually does a nice job of framing the things that lead up to it, because even the Japanese gentleman who has that alternate history experience, where he's actually in this alternate history where America is still America, and he's very confused, and then he pulls himself out of it, which is what you see at the end of, and this is sort of a spoiler, what you see at the end of the first season of Man in the High Castle. The cultural conflicts are interesting, and to me, the book is really the last 3 chapters are a payoff. If you can make it through that slow middle section, allow the character and plot development, that you're going to get something of value from the book. And the cool thing is, because it doesn't give you absolute closure, it gives you conversation topic, and you like want to find someone who's read the book. Like I want to go to you, Caps, and go, let's talk about this. I've got to sort of work this through because I'm having a problem with exactly what's going on.
I honestly, I felt the exact same way about season 1 of the series. I had gotten maybe 6 episodes into it and was just kind of getting bored with it. And then you had brought it up on the show, so I jumped back in. And then when I got to that last episode, boom.
Oh yeah, the last episode in the series, you're like, whoa,
yeah,
that's not supposed to happen. And that character actually, again, it's not a common outcome. His character has a different reality and a different presence, and even I almost feel like the creative license they took in the series with respect to who Hitler is and the confusion of who the Man in the High Castle is almost does a disservice to the book. I thought
because it was completely different in the book.
Yeah,
it's I don't know.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
because it's a different perspective. So I think both are good. I think both give you an interesting observation. But
I do recommend reading more of his books.
Philip K. Dick is
especially his short stories are really good.
And he's actually an easy read. You may not like where he goes with it, but it's not as if he's challenging. Dune is sort of my go-to awful book.
Dune is awful.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, having to reference the freaking who's this person? What does this mean?
Well, you don't have to do that if you read the book.
Well, I tried to, but I couldn't get 6 pages past it. So let's just say that Philip K. Dick. Yeah, I know. He writes well. I mean, it's very accessible, and even if it's boring, you can just sort of plow through it and not worry about it. So yeah, Chris, you say you're not a reader, but I think you need to invest in the book. It's not hard. Just shut the fuck up.
And that's the problem.
You getting the body language?
So can we
look at my thing?
Can we get this over with?
How far are we into it?
We're about at 9 minutes away from. Let's go 8 minutes away from 2 hours.
Yeah, please break this up. Please, I need you to edit this and do it as segments.
120 minutes.
That used to be the greatest.
Let's talk about that for 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's music.
I like music, and it's old.
Seriously, you've got to break this up.
Well, you've got to start talking.
Well, no, Caps can go ahead and start with look at my thing.
I've got something I want you to see. Come look at my thing.
Look at it. Come on, look at it. Look at my thing.
Okay, so my thing.
Shut up, Chris.
What your thing is?
What your thing is?
I'm done. Are you serious? Really? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a segment thing, and it doesn't really work with other stuff. I might do it, but it's got to be a perfect spot. It's not.
He'll find a perfect.
I'm not going to force it. I was able to force my dick in that segment.
So you just proved my argument. So that's good.
But I found that spot for my dick.
Caps, please. Talk.
Unless you can find the spot.
Caps, I need you to talk. It's
I'm just going with it. See where he
You're going with his dick. Think about it. That's the running gag of the show, by the way. I think is
Think about it.
think about it.
So my thing is this BBC series, A Young Doctor's Notebook.
Yeah,
And other
you
stories.
forgot the name.
Sorry, I was about to say The Man in the High Castle. No, we were just talking about that. That was another television show. So it's based off of a Russian playwright, novelist from the early 20th century. Some of his short stories that he dealt with. So this novelist was a doctor that was sent from Moscow after he graduated, was sent to a rural part of Russia. So the stories that he tell are kind of spin-offs of that. The young doctor is played by Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh,
And
Harry Potter fan?
Yeah, Harry Potter fan. And
really? I thought we were going to go someplace else with that.
What do you mean?
or Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, I thought we'd do Swiss Army Man.
I wouldn't say Swiss Army Man fame. I'd say
Yeah.
Harry Potter fame.
Harry Potter fame.
Yeah, but we did a podcast.
No, I understand that, and I'm sure anybody who's listened to every episode realizes that he was in Swiss Army
Do we
Man.
have people that listen to every episode other than us?
Everybody who listens to every episode.
And they're beautiful people who will probably be rewarded in heaven.
Fantastic.
All the other people on Earth haven't listened to any episode.
Destined to hell.
So this one's kind
They'll
of
never know the glory of our podcast.
If you keep interrupting
of
him-
our podcast.
If you
He
keep
could have
interrupting
said
him,
my dick. He could have said my dick, and he went with
he was thinking about it though.
our
That's all I need.
podcast.
I apologize.
Don't.
Young
I'm
Doctor-
done.
Go ahead. Young Doctors in Love.
Young
Let's hear it.
Doctors.
That's
No,
it,
I
right?
highly
Young
recommend this.
Doctors
It's a
in
good.
Love.
It's interesting because Daniel Radcliffe plays the young doctor, and John Hamm plays the same doctor, older.
John Hamm from
Mad Men.
there you go.
Of Mad Men fame.
Of Mad Men fame.
Series I did not like.
Oh, we discussed that. We don't want to talk about it.
So the young doctor, what happens is the old doctor is a heroin addict, or morphine addict, excuse me.
As many old doctors are. Yeah.
So the old doctor, it happens in the 30s, and the young doctor happens in like 1918. So they're the same doctors, but they interact with each other in the
So it was
memories.
12 years apart?
No,
Did you say-
1918, 1934. Did I say 1940?
All right, that's 16 years apart.
Yeah.
That is
Really?
Young
This
and
is-
old. That's.
This is the hill you're going to die on?
I think so.
Okay.
Sorry, that was where I got interested.
No, like 1914. Did I say 18? I said 18.
Oh my
said
God, you're
19.
just all over the
Jeez,
place.
I am all over the place. I'm still focused on the Man in the High Castle.
I Ching, I Ching.
I want to talk about that.
We all ching for I
Is this
Ching.
why you don't like this whole Greenbelt thing and numbers and
It's the number. It's statistics. I just am not good at numbers. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going to go with this. At this
I'm
point.
sorry, man.
We're so off track. I can't even get back to it.
so there's an older doctor in the 30s and a younger doctor in the teens.
Russia.
Yeah,
Potter,
1940 during the
Mad Men.
Russian
My dick.
Revolution.
Easy. Come on.
I don't
Really?
get to do it? Really? It's all you? Only you get my dick?
I was pretending that was you were a problem. Yes, and
Yes, and
when it works for me.
No, so but this was an interesting. You shared this with us a couple weeks ago, and it was an interesting premise. The interesting idea was that they actually interact because normally in time travel, you obviously don't want to interact because we know what happens with the time-space continuum.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not really time travel. It's the old doctor reflecting back on his younger self.
Oh, okay.
And-
So it's more
but they
vision stuff
interact
then?
with but they interact with each other. So like he's trying to, because in the 30s he's a hardcore morphine addict, and he's discovered by Stalin's the KGB.
Stalin discoverers.
It's not KGB. It's I can't think of the word for it.
Yeah, you're the war
I
history
know, and
guy.
I'm,
You should know
I'm
this.
throwing this.
Do I get points for him not knowing this?
I
The
think you do.
CCP, XYZ,
XY.
OPP.
OPP.
Yeah, you know me.
I'm down with that, by the way.
So
You can just say Stalin. I think
yeah, so he's going. He's discovered. So he's reflecting on going back to himself as a younger doctor before he became a morphine addict, and trying to keep himself from becoming that addict. It's a weird premise, but it works. It's neat because it starts out kind of you're like, oh well, this is funny, ha ha ha. But then there are points where when he becomes the addict and what he does and how it affects the people around him in this village and the people that are in the hospital with him and someone that he tries to fall in love with. And I mean, it's just, it gets darker and darker and darker, and there's still funny moments where you're like, oh, that's funny, but then you're like, oh, I shouldn't have laughed at that. That was kind of wrong.
Yeah.
Thinking it was humorous.
Kind of like, will I see you in heaven, my dick?
Yeah, exactly. That type of thing. So, but yeah, I mean, it's on Netflix, I think. I think it's also on Amazon.
Amazon or Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime. So
Yeah, I believe it's on Amazon.
Well, I mean, just the fact that Hammond.
So
Radcliffe
does young Potter understand that old Hamm is him?
You like this, don't you? I mean, that was important for you.
Potter ham, potted ham. I get it.
But seriously, I asked a question.
Oh, you want an actual response?
I want an actual answer. No.
Yes and no, because they interact with each other, but it's not like, oh, what a surprise, 1930s me is talking to me. He's speaking to him like has been there the whole time. Like it's always been in the back of his head that I'm going to become this old, burnt-out doctor that's a morphine addict. So it works.
So it's not exactly defined?
Yeah, it's not exactly defined.
I don't like that.
So, like everything in a box.
It leaves it open. A nice, pretty box.
But there's three series, 3 episodes, 3 or 4 episodes each, I think, and they're only like 20 minutes long.
They're not one episode. They aren't most British series on one episode apiece.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like Sherlock.
And then a
It's
Christmas
3
show.
episodes, then a Christmas show, and then you don't see anything for another year and a half.
Hey, that's Cumberbatch. That's not Cumberbatch.
It is. He's making Doctor Strange. He's doing all that other stuff. Hey and I know.
I beg your pardon?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So, what's your thing?
My thing is a series formerly on the Fusion Network, which nobody knows exists, but can now be found on YouTube. All episodes can be found on YouTube. It's called No You Shut Up. And it's a panel show involving my favorite comedian, Paul F. Tompkins, and Henson Muppet puppets from all types of walks of life and types of animals and whatnot.
It's funny.
It is, it's absurd, but it is. So my favorite part of the show is the puppets themselves, and the fact that they're obviously animals, but they're also opinionated, and they're also
It's allegorical.
yeah.
Yeah.
The best way for me to describe it, so hold on, strap yourselves in. I'm going to run down the list of panelists. There's a bird, just called a bird. He's an unnamed seagull who lives in a Walmart parking lot. There's Grunt, who's a cave woman, born in the year 4 million BC, who was frozen in a block of ice and was resuscitated in the year 2009, where she became a news analyst on the Fox News Channel.
Yeah, that sounds about right. He must be blonde, too.
There's Andy Algiza, who is a mummy, also the president of the AAMRP, short for American Association of Mummified or Retired People.
Still haven't gotten to my favorite.
Armin Might. Armin Might's a kangaroo rat who's also a film critic.
Not my favorite.
There's Aunt Mildred. Aunt Mildred is a sloth who's the chairman of the Traditional Values Coalition. Barry's a flying squirrel and a life partner of Gary, who works as a marriage counselor and a gay rights activist. There's Birsten Krakoff. Birsten Krakoff is a vulture from Russia who was a war correspondent and the author of A Farewell to Arms and Legs. There's Bigfoot. Of course, we all know Bigfoot. Bigfoot's a libertarian hermit who lives in the woods somewhere in Montana and is founder of Montana's Frozen Fan Club branch.
Right? That's actually a very accurate representation of libertarians.
There's Billy Cabrito. Billy Cabrito is a goat who's a writer, blogger, and editor-in-chief of the news outlet called The Daily Bleat. There is Blue Crab. Blue Crab is a Democratic co-host of Crab Fire, who usually argues with Red Crab, who's a Republican, and also married to Red Crab. Bo Beetle is a Beetle who is a political radio personality and firebrand pundit. Brigham is a bighorn sheep who was a Mormon preacher. That's just a bighorn sheep,
Yeah.
also a Mormon preacher.
Why have you not gotten to the best one?
Dude, they're in alphabetical order.
Okay.
Chambray is an actor of indeterminate gender. Cheetah Girl is a cheetah blogger from Africa who's an international spokeswoman for the LGBT's cheetah community and world's fastest lesbian. Chimp with a Limp is a monkey who is a discontinued toy that depicts him with polio and has different phrases when the button on his right corrective shoe is pushed. Chimp with a Limp now works as a consumer report specialist. There's Dax Rhesus, who's a spider monkey, also a fitness guru.
I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
Dr. Moose is a cow who's a TV doctor and host of the Dr. Moose Show. Dr. Philip Weasel is a weasel who's a climatologist and adjunct professor at Dartmouth College.
Adjunct professor.
Not my favorite, but my second favorite, Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson is a rock.
Consistent. Would we have the same favorite one, by the way?
My favorite's the one that I've told you about that is my favorite.
Which is?
We haven't
Well,
got
we
to
get
it.
there.
Frankie LeMay is a tropical bird who's also a singer, dancer, and entertainer of the show That's Bananas. G. Gordon Middy is a supervillain with plans to take over the Earth.
A very good character, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gary, as we spoke earlier, is a gerbil and life partner of Barry, who works as a marriage counselor and gay rights activist. George Rooney's a warthog who is an actor. Gordon LeClaire is a reindeer from Canada who works as a journalist at the Canuck Chronicle. Gulag is a stray dog who came from Sochi, Russia, and is adjusting in life in the United States. He is also a Chernobyl terrier.
A Chernobyl terrier?
My favorite,
Please be more.
absolute favorite, is Hardvark. Hardvark is an aardvark who's also a Christian rapper.
Oh, he is the best
And his-
character.
A Christian rapper, his real name is Stuart Dilworth, and he hails from Montpelier, Vermont. Hot Dog is a talking hot dog. In a mustache, who's an actor, model, and host of the talk show Speaking Frankly. Jeff Marks is a bear in a goatee who's an entertainment correspondent, owner of the blog What's Ursine Hollywood, and an internet celebrity. Joe Lunchpail is a living lunch pail, who's a populist political commentator.
This has been going on for a while.
I
Please
know.
tell me you're close to the
I'm in the J's.
Chris, we may have to stop.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's see. What do we have? We got Laura Spots, the Jaguar, who's a legal expert. We got Matt Rosenberg's a boy who's one of the youngest billionaires and creator of the iFart app.
That's not funny.
Is it not funny?
No,
is
it's not.
funny.
There's nothing
It
funny
is
about
funny.
farting.
Oliver Pouch is an opossum congressman who's the representative from Texas and has a tendency to play dead. All right, I'm going to stop there, but that just tells you
It's
keeps
creative.
going,
It's a
yeah.
very creative.
that's
and it's funny.
the beauty of the show.
And if you can handle puppets, because the great thing about it is it's puppets talking to people.
So
Right.
the puppets actually talk to the people.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Okay.
the presentation is not that these are just kind of puppets talking to each other. That this is a real thing.
This
that-
is Face the Nation.
yeah.
This
that you,
is
yeah. That
yeah.
you need to recognize these puppets as autonomous beings with personhood, and that their opinions are not someone with their hand up their ass. That they have their own opinions.
So-
And it's-
But
They
fortunately, their opinions are all insane, all extreme.
I would actually argue that the G. Gordon Liddy guy, or no, the guy that wants to take over the world.
Right.
Yeah. As much as I enjoy the rapper just because he's an idiot, the evil genius guy, some of the things he says are just,
Yeah.
I mean, they're quotable. It's you want to restate what he says because it's he'll say something that seems reasonable, and then out of nowhere you're like, oh, okay, well that's
Yeah. He defends himself as living under a volcano.
Yeah.
You know,
As all evil
everybody
geniuses.
makes fun of him.
all
you know.
evil geniuses.
Yeah.
So.
Because how do you light a cigar but in a, flowing lava pool? All right. We made it through my thing.
Yeah, I kind of.
We slogged through my thing. I would have gone the whole thing, too.
I know. You actually took my time on my thing.
Did I?
Look at my thing.
All right, let's go.
No, I'm actually cool not even to look at my thing.
You don't want to look at your thing?
Yeah, I was. The look at my thing, I was going to bring up my national park guy, but I kind of don't want. I don't want to do it now.
You don't want to do your thing?
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
You want to talk about it?
That's right. Don't talk about it.
Is it okay to not
Go
talk
in.
about it?
Go inside. Go inside your shell.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I actually. I
No, I'm not going to get angry that you don't want to talk about it.
No, that's not why I want to.
I'm cool. We're good.
You're actually kind of a dick right now. That's because I know what you're doing. And that's
you do?
Yeah. I was gonna go with the whole Stephen Mather thing, but I actually want to promote.
But what's it matter?
I want to promote my friend Larry Chambers.
Hey, Larry
Larry
Chambers. Hi.
Larry Chambers works for his job is Nature's Classrooms. It's Nature's Classroom at Sargent Center, and it's basically a week retreat where kids come up and they get to spend time in New Hampshire and doing outdoor stuff. What I didn't talk about on our trip to New Hampshire is that because Evan came up with me and sort of carved out time from his work and his girlfriend and whatnot, the final day we were going to do rock climbing. Well, I had this, I almost call it an irrational fear of falling, but I think that's...
I'd say it's pretty rational.
Well, it's funny, my buddy Chris Kenny and I, we've actually had pretty heated arguments about whether or not fear is rational or irrational. When I mean heated, I mean it's gotten to the point of wanting to call the other, you're just an idiot for holding that position. So we went to an area and he's like, and Evan had climbed up to a spot. He was ready to go ahead and clip in and ask me if I wanted to climb. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't spent a whole lot of time in the gym. Let me work up my strength and my confidence. I'll just go ahead and belay you. And that's another story of your son climbing up 80 feet of rock and you holding the rope and knowing that if you fuck this
You're
up,
the only thing that's keeping him from
exactly.
falling.
Well,
to the
thankfully it was an auto belay. So if the rope went, it would sort of lock, but you're still trusting it not to lock, and it's going to fail at some point, as everything does. So there were a couple times when he fell, and he actually would say to me, "Good catch, Dad." And so there was that element.
Can you imagine if something happened?
No, it's.
And then you had to write a song about it?
You'd find a way to make it about your dick. I know. So we were doing this. The whole he was.
And that
doing
song was Crack
climbing.
Rockin' Hookers.
It's a gem that America has yet to discover.
We're getting there. Maybe the 8th time we record it, it'll be good.
So Larry's thing with Nature's Classroom is sort of the same thing that sort of what I experienced with Evan is we're on this very popular rock climbing area, and when we got there, it wasn't as crowded, but there was a summer camp of kids, probably a dozen, roughly around the age of 13, which Evan says is a really good time for kids to start rock climbing because it gives they understand the mortality of what you're doing and the responsibility of holding somebody, and it's not just, hey, we're climbing rocks. It's like, well, no, it's you got to hold the rope. That's where they die. So it was fun watching these 12 and 13-year-olds experience this level of confidence, and as well as being on the ground and being yelled at for not paying attention to what they're doing. But what Larry's doing with this Nature's Classroom, and there are a bunch of other companies that do this, is they're taking these kids out and they're exposing them to nature, and they're teaching them that you are in a sense self-sufficient. And if you don't know this, New Hampshire's motto is "Live free or die." And what's funny is Larry's from Texas, moved to New Hampshire, so he has that sort of rugged individual attitude. But the thing that drew me into this, two things that drew me into this. Number one, he has this yellow, he calls it the yellow book, and it's a waterproof book. And what he does is he has the kids as well as the instructors and the parents write things in this book, and he shares it on his Facebook page. And it's a book where you can be completely honest. Like, what are you getting from this? What are you learning? And he wants them to be very direct. And if you follow this group on Facebook, he posts some of the things these kids say. It's gospel. It is honesty. It is fantastic. And what's better is that who he gets to do this is impressive. He has a school from inner city Miami, which is basically an all African American group that has come up on a regular basis. And these kids are getting to experience something that you're never going to see in Miami. Brian, to your point about your kids being in Florida, not seeing the mountains, it is an exposure to a reality of being in this world that Larry said changes who they are. Now, whether they can carry it through life is another question, but for that 1 week, they're recognizing things that they would not see elsewhere. And I don't want to sort of bring this down after all the comedy we've had, but
no,
but this Nature's Classrooms at Sargent Center, it's one of those things that sort of, amidst all the crap that's going on, reminds you that there are people out there that are actually trying to shape our kids to be good citizens, not only of our country but of the world, and break away from the materialism and recognize that you get out in nature and that's where you really find yourself. The iPad, the iPhone, even the great Amazon Prime and Netflix shows that are out there that serve value. I'm not trying to dismiss them, but being able to climb a 30-foot wall with someone holding a rope is a big deal.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
So that amidst the three things I was going to talk about, it sort of just manifested during the show that what, I'm gonna pimp my friend Larry Chambers. So, and again, this is the guy that got me off of Knife Edge. So I'm always going to be, he's always going to be a special person in my life because I should have fallen to my death upon Katahdin, and Larry got me through it. So
Thank you, LC.
My friend LC.
Maybe not everybody thinks that way, but I'm glad you feel that. I'm sure some people are saying you couldn't have let that son of a bitch fall. So that's my thing.
That's your thing.
That's my thing.
And that's your thing.
That was my thing.
And that's my thing.
And
this is our thing.
This is our thing. What about the
Muff divers?
Lopez? Think about it.
Jennifer Lopez?
Yes. What about Jennifer Lopez?
What about Jennifer Lopez?
She's aged well.
No kidding.
No, what about the websites and WordPress and all that? Should we?
Oh, the
mention that?
WordPress, the WordPress.
WordPress?
Yeah.
No, that's a candy.
We
don't have a candy yet.
CUWAGD.wordpress.com. And our email address is the same thing, except you take the WordPress out and you put it @gmail.com in.
And I haven't done a really good job with Twitter, by the way.
You can feel the sun, you can feel the sun on the side of me, and you can get off the feeling way and it worrying out. One thing I know is it